Most people think muscle loss is just part of getting older. You feel it in the little things, struggling to open a jar, catching your breath after a short walk, or feeling like your legs weigh 100 pounds just getting out of bed. Maybe you've told yourself, this is just how it goes after 65. But what if I told you that much of this slow decline doesn't come from age, but from habits? Quiet, unnoticed, but deeply powerful habits. Tonight we're diving into 3 everyday foods, backed by science, stories, and elderly wisdom, that can protect your muscles, support your sleep, and bring back a strength you may have forgotten was still inside you. And by the end of this video, I'll show you a nightly ritual inspired by real seniors in Europe and North America, people just like you who refuse to let age define their health. So don't go anywhere, because the last food might be the most surprising of all. Let's begin with a woman named Ruth. She's 74, lives alone in a quiet village in northern England. And for years, she believed she was simply slowing down. Her grip got weaker, her balance less certain, and eventually a short walk left her breathless. Then came the aha moment that changed everything. A simple misstep in her kitchen, one foot caught on the rug, and she went down hard. No broken bones, thank God, but something else broke. Her belief that decline was inevitable. That night, Ruth opened a dusty old journal where she had once written quotes from her favorite authors, inspirational thoughts, and bits of elderly reflections from her late husband. One line stood out: your body listens to how you treat it, even in silence. That's when she realized maybe she hadn't been listening to what her body truly needed. What Ruth discovered wasn't a miracle cure, a supplement, or a new fitness craze. It was protein, specifically cottage cheese. Now I know what you might be thinking. Cottage cheese? That's for breakfast, right? But for seniors, it's one of the most underrated tools for fighting muscle loss. It's rich in casein protein, which digests slowly, feeding your muscles through the night while you sleep. A study from Maastricht University found that casein taken before bed significantly improved overnight muscle protein synthesis in older adults. That means your body is literally rebuilding and preserving muscle while you rest, something critical for anyone in their 60s, 70s, or beyond. Ruth now eats just a few spoonfuls before bed, sometimes with a drizzle of honey and cinnamon. Within weeks, she reported feeling less sore in the morning and stronger climbing stairs. Her balance improved, and she even went back to tending her garden, something she had quietly given up years earlier. But protein isn't enough by itself. Muscles also need minerals, and that's where our second food comes in: pumpkin seeds. Small, simple, and powerful. These little seeds are packed with magnesium, a mineral many seniors are unknowingly deficient in. Magnesium plays a critical role in over 300 bodily functions, including muscle contractions, nerve health, and deep sleep. A 2020 study published in Nutrients found that seniors with higher magnesium intake reported significantly better sleep quality, fewer nighttime cramps, and improved physical performance. Let me tell you about Bernard, 79 years old, a retired plumber from Minnesota. Bernard had restless legs for years. He'd toss and turn at night, sometimes needing to get out of bed just to stretch. He tried stretching routines, sleep aids, even expensive pillows. Nothing worked, until his granddaughter, a dietitian, handed him a jar of roasted pumpkin seeds and said, "Just a handful before bed, Grandpa." That small change made a big difference. Bernard now sleeps through the night and, more importantly, wakes up feeling steady, not stiff. Just a tablespoon of these seeds gives your body the magnesium it craves, and when paired with protein like cottage cheese, that's a muscle-learning combination. Your body remembers. Now for our third food, and one that targets both recovery and rest. I'm talking about Tart cherries. These aren't your average sweet snack. Tart cherries, especially in juice form, are rich in antioxidants, melatonin, and anti-inflammatory compounds that help your body heal overnight. One clinical trial from Louisiana State University found that older adults who drank Tart cherry juice before bed slept longer and deeper, and also showed reduced inflammation in their joints and muscles. You might be wondering how that ties into muscle strength. Well, inflammation quietly damages tissues over time, including muscle fibers. Reducing it isn't just about feeling better, it's about preventing decline. That brings me to Walter, 83 years old, a retired teacher from Toronto. Walter bikes 5 miles every morning, even in winter. When asked how he stays active, he credits his night juice. A glass of Tart cherry juice an hour before bed. He says, "It's like my body gets a head start on healing." He doesn't need ice packs or painkillers anymore, just that simple glass, every night. So let's pause for a moment. We've talked about cottage cheese for slow-release protein and muscle maintenance. pumpkin seeds for magnesium, nerve calm, and better sleep, and tart cherries to reduce inflammation and support nighttime recovery. These foods aren't expensive, not trendy. They're ancient, trusted, and now scientifically backed. But more than that, they're acts of care, because every time you choose to nourish your body with intention, you're sending a message. I'm still here, I still matter, and I'm still building strength. If you're over 60, ask yourself, are your nights helping your body heal or silently working against you? Because senior health isn't just about avoiding illness. It's about staying strong, mentally sharp, and independent. Every senior deserves a life filled with movement, clarity, and confidence. And it starts with the quiet decisions made after sunset. These aren't just foods. They're your motivation. They're part of the life lessons from the elderly that often get lost in the noise. And they're a part of what we honor here on this channel. Elderly reflections, passed down not through textbooks, but through stories like Ruth's, Bernard's, and Walter's. So if something today sparked your curiosity, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? Are you in the US, Canada, the UK, or somewhere else? Let's build a community of support, of insight, of elderly wisdom. And if this helped you even a little, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Elderly Reflections, and tap the bell so you never miss a story that could change the way you age. Because your story isn't over. In fact, it might just be getting started. If you've made it this far, I hope you're starting to see something clearly. Muscle strength and restful sleep after 60 are not things you lose by default. They're things you either nourish or neglect. Earlier, we talked about the quiet power of cottage cheese, pumpkin seeds, and tart cherries. 3 foods that have helped real seniors across North America and Europe regain their energy, balance, and restful sleep. But tonight, we're not done yet, because what you put into your body in the final hours before bed could very well determine how long you walk with confidence, how sharp your memory stays, and how independent you remain in the years ahead. These aren't just nutritional tips. They're part of a mindset shift, a return to care, a restoration of dignity through small rituals. And what I'm about to share now might surprise you, because our next food isn't even a food. It's a warm golden drink, one rooted in tradition, passed down through generations, and backed by modern science for its healing power. I'm talking about turmeric milk, sometimes called golden milk. And before you dismiss it as a trendy health drink, let me take you to the rolling hills of Devon, England, where I met an 81-year-old woman named Joyce. Joyce used to call 8 p.m. her fog hour. That's when her thoughts would slow down, her joints would ache, and her sleep would begin to unravel. Her granddaughter, not a pill, not another supplement, but a ritual. A quiet cup of warm milk, stirred with half a teaspoon of turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, and a drop of honey. Joyce was skeptical, but she gave it a chance. 2 weeks later, she told me something I'll never forget. She said, "I feel like I got a piece of myself back." Her sleep had improved, her knees ached less, and her mood, she said, felt lighter. The science agrees. Turmeric contains curcumin, a powerful anti-inflammatory compound that's been shown to reduce oxidative stress in the brain and body. In one 18-month study published in the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry, older adults who took curcumin experienced significant improvements in memory and attention. Curcumin is most effective when consumed with a bit of fat and pepper, which makes milk the perfect delivery system. And for seniors, that combination helps reduce the silent inflammation that contributes to both heart disease and cognitive decline. Every night, Joyce would sit by her bedroom window, sipping her golden milk and writing one sentence in a gratitude journal. Not much, just one sentence. "Tonight I'm thankful for," and she'd finish the line. That combination of reflection and nourishment created what I now call one of the most powerful evening habits for any senior seeking strength and clarity. So if you haven't tried turmeric milk, start tonight. It's not just a drink. It's a message to your body that you're still in the game. Now let's move to something sweet, but not in the way you'd expect. Because our next food isn't candy, cake, or anything artificial. It's blueberries, nature's brain fuel. Many people think of blueberries as a breakfast item, but what most don't realize is that these tiny berries are packed with anthocyanins, antioxidants that protect the brain and improve blood flow. A study from the University of Exeter in the UK showed that seniors who consumed blueberries daily, even in juice form, showed measurable improvements in memory and decision-making. The most impressive part? The improvements were seen in regions of the brain tied to planning and organization. two areas that often decline first after 65. Let me tell you about Louis. He's 75, a retired mechanic from Kentucky, and he spent most of his life working with his hands. But a few years ago, Louis noticed something that scared him more than any physical pain. He'd forget why he walked into a room, forget names, place tools. He told me once, "It's not the forgetting that scared me, it's the feeling that I was slipping away from myself." A friend, also retired, told him about blueberries. Louis started simple, a small bowl before bed, sometimes mixed into a little Greek yogurt. He called it blue thinking fuel. And after just 3 months, he reported feeling sharper, less foggy, and, in his words, more present. That's the power of consistent antioxidants. Blueberries also contain compounds that improve vascular function, meaning better blood flow not just to your muscles but to your brain. And when your brain is fed well, your decisions, your balance, even your mood all improve. If you're a senior who struggles with sleep, memory, or clarity, try adding a small handful of blueberries to your evening. It's not a meal, it's not a diet, it's a habit, simple, repeatable, and full of inspiration. And now for the final food, one you might not expect. It's not a drink, not a berry, not a powder. It's a leafy green, spinach. Yes, spinach, not exactly a bedtime craving, I know. But this quiet little green is loaded with magnesium, nitrates, and dopamine precursors, all critical for seniors over 60. Let me break that down. Magnesium supports nerve function, calms the nervous system, and regulates sleep cycles. Nitrates open blood vessels and improve circulation, critical for heart health and stamina. And dopamine precursors, they help regulate mood and motivation. Two things that many seniors report struggling with during late-night hours. Let me share the story of Maria. 69 years old, born in Spain, now living in Arizona. Maria's blood pressure had been creeping up. Her energy was down, and she had started losing interest in her evening walks. Something she once loved. Her doctor was ready to start medication, but Maria asked if there was anything she could try first. He gave her one suggestion. Maria started small, just a handful of baby spinach each evening, drizzled with olive oil, sometimes with a boiled egg or a sprinkle of feta. 4 months later, her blood pressure was normal. Her energy returned, and she told me, "That little salad became my reset button." What most people don't realize is that magnesium absorption peaks overnight. That means eating magnesium-rich foods in the evening actually helps your body restore itself better. And spinach is one of the most absorbable sources. If you're not a salad person, that's okay. Add it to soup, blend it into a smoothie, or wilt it into your dinner. It's not about the form, it's about the commitment. So let's take a moment to reflect. In the previous section, we added 3 more gentle powerhouses to your routine. Turmeric milk to calm inflammation and support memory, blueberries to protect your brain and circulation, and spinach to nourish your nervous system and stabilize mood. That's a total of 6 foods if you've been following along. But more importantly, that's 6 chances every night to choose strength over weakness, clarity over confusion, and peace over pain. These are not dramatic lifestyle changes. These are small, intentional choices, infused with the wisdom of seniors across the world. This is what Elderly Reflections are all about. Quiet moments, powerful effects. As always, I want to hear from you. What's your favorite evening food? Which of these have you tried or will try tonight? And most importantly, where are you watching from? Let's bring the world closer together through shared knowledge, shared stories, and shared health. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Elderly Reflections, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a piece of senior inspiration or life lessons from the elderly. Because here, your voice matters, your choices matter, and your health, even now, is still in your hands. There's a certain stillness that only evening brings. The phone stops ringing, the street outside goes quiet, the noise of the day begins to fade, and in that hush, something profound happens. Your body starts to repair itself. But that repair doesn't come automatically. It doesn't show up just because you closed your eyes or turned off the lights. It comes from what you've given your body in the hours leading up to rest. We've uncovered 6 quiet heroes: cottage cheese, pumpkin seeds, Tart cherries, turmeric milk, blueberries, and spinach. Foods that speak softly but carry deep impact. Each one backed by both modern science and the wisdom passed down through elderly reflections from seniors across continents. These aren't just ingredients, tools to preserve mobility, sharpen the mind, and invite calm into the most sacred hours of your day. But what good are tools if we don't know how to use them? That's what we'll dive into next. Because the real question isn't just what to eat, it's how to live. Let me start with a man named George. George is 82 years old, a retired dentist from Vermont, and the kind of man who never missed a detail. He used to say, "You don't lose your memory all at once. It fades piece by piece. Unless you feed it." His daughter noticed the change, the tremble in his hands, the slowness in his step, the way he would stare blankly at old photo frames. She sat him down and said, "Dad, we need to take back your nights." And that's exactly what they did. Not with medications, not with alarms or schedules, but with a tray. Every evening at 8:30 p.m., George would place on it just three things: a small bowl of Greek yogurt with a handful of blueberries, a glass of warm turmeric milk, and 6 halves of walnut. He'd turn off the TV, by a window, sometimes journal, sometimes call his granddaughter, but every night that tray returned him to himself. Within a month, his sleep improved, his posture straightened. And one morning he said something that stopped me in my tracks. "I feel like someone cleaned the window between me and the world." That right there is the power of routine. A quiet commitment to your own health, even when no one's watching. So let's talk about how you can bring this to life, because elderly wisdom isn't just about knowing what's good for you. It's about turning knowledge into ritual. Start with timing. Your body needs about 90 minutes to digest and process light, nutrient-dense foods before bed. That means your final small meal or snack should happen somewhere between 7 and 8:30 p.m., depending on when you sleep. This isn't about calories, it's about preparation. Let your body use, but remember, you're not fueling for activity at night, you're fueling for repair. Here's a basic guide: Greek yogurt, half a cup; blueberry, 1 small handful; Tart cherry juice, 4 to 6 ounces; cottage cheese, a few spoonfuls; pumpkin seeds, 1 tablespoon; spinach salad, just a handful with olive oil; turmeric milk, 1 cup, warm. Mix and match. Rotate, let your body tell you what it needs. But above all, stay consistent. Now let's talk about what to avoid. Because just as some foods heal, others quietly sabotage your strength. Processed carbs, salty snacks, sugar, they may taste like comfort, but they're stress signals to your system. They spike insulin, disrupt sleep, raise nighttime blood pressure, and worst of all, they create inflammation that erodes muscle and brain health slowly over time. A cookie may feel harmless, but if it replaces the nutrients your body craves, it's not just empty, it's costly. The other danger: late-night alcohol. A glass of wine may relax you, but studies show it fragments deep sleep and increases heart rate overnight. If you do drink, make it early, not part of your bedtime habit. Finally, don't overlook hydration. Many seniors overdo it at night, trying to catch up on fluids. But too much liquid close to bedtime means interrupted sleep, bathroom trips, and in some cases, risk of nighttime falls. So sip gently after 8 p.m. and let the night be about stillness. What you build now is more than a menu, it's a mindset. Because here's a truth we often forget in the rush of health advice. Your evening routine sets the tone for your tomorrow. Seniors who nourish their muscles and support their sleep consistently report better energy, fewer medications, clearer memory, and greater independence. That's not marketing, that's data. But more importantly, that's life. So ask yourself, what did I give my body tonight? Did I prepare it to heal, to stay strong, to remember who I am? If the answer is yes, even in a small way, then you're already winning. And if you're sitting there thinking, is it too late for me? Let me answer with a story. I recently received an email from a woman in Minnesota, 86 years old. She started this evening routine after watching one of our earlier videos. In her words, "For the first time in 10 years, I remember my dreams. I sleep through the night, and in the morning I don't just wake up. I rise." That's not marketing, that's motivation. That's what we're building here, together. A place for senior health not based on fear, but on empowerment. A community guided by life lessons from the elderly, not trends. A channel rooted in elderly reflection, wisdom that whispers, you're not done, you still have chapters left to write. So let me ask you again, what are you eating before bed? What are you giving your heart, your brain, your bones? And if you're unsure where to begin, just start. 1 kiwi, 1 cup of warm turmeric milk, a spoonful of yogurt. Let that be your signal to your body, to your spirit, to the part of you that still wants to feel strong, sharp, and alive. Before we wrap up, I want to invite you, if this video inspired you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on that bell so you never miss another story of motivation, elderly wisdom, and senior inspiration. But more importantly, drop a comment below and tell me, where are you watching from? Europe, North America, somewhere else entirely? I want to know, because here your voice matters, your journey matters, and your evenings, well, they're just getting started. Here's to your strength, here's to your rest, and here's to the foods that remind you that aging is not the end. It's your second win.